Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, a far from normal celebration of independence. We've got the highlights. An update on labor at the Point development. Plus, with no beach, see how Bahamians on New Providence celebrated independence.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Happy Independence and welcome to Our News. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. For the first time in recent memory, the Bahamas' flag was raised before an empty Clifford Park. While the celebration was far from the norm, entertainers, government officials, and members of the clergy brought in the country's 47th anniversary of independence with a virtual bang. Berthany McDermott has the story.
This 47th Independence celebration taking on a different format this year as the COVID-19 pandemic forced organizers to go virtual with a more than 4-hour-long telethon packed with everything Bahamian. It featured a number of Bahamian sketch artists, comedians, and musicians, putting residents in the independence mood from their homes.
I got some questions about your culture, and if y'all get it wrong, I turn off all y'all head. What MINNIS last name is? Hubert. Off my line, off my line.
In his address, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert MINNIS called on Bahamians to act as responsible citizens and to be concerned for the welfare of all, including the most vulnerable in the society. He again acknowledged that as the pandemic will be with us for a while, the goal now is to rebuild the economy.
I have seen some of the bold plans from the Economic Recovery Committee. These plans and proposed projects will help to promote a new and more diversified economy in many sectors. The ideas from the committee will help to jumpstart innovative ideas and projects that will increase Bahamian ownership of the economy and put more Bahamians back to work.
The usual packed Clifford Park was deserted with only a few clergymen and officers for the flag-raising ceremony. Still, Bahamians stuck abroad and across the islands had a chance to chat with the hosts via Zoom.
Hi, Shirley.
No, please.
Shirley, somebody have on here say you don't want no personal question. How you doing?
No.
You okay?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic. So how's Canada?
Opposition leader Philip Davis said while it may be hard to be optimistic about the future considering the hardship brought on by the pandemic, Bahamians need to join together in building a country where no one is left behind.
We have to stand up for one another. We have to call out inequality and unfairness. We have to speak uncomfortable truths. We have to do the kind of hard work that brings big change.
Delivering the ecumenical service was third vice president of the Bahamas Christian Council, Reverend CARLA. This is the first time this sermon is being delivered by a woman. She encouraged Bahamians to be courageous and never give up. She also stressed the importance of unity among the nation's leaders.
This is not the time for political grandstanding or personal mileage. There are too many people that are suffering and struggling in our nation. And so we must work together.
And what would an independence celebration be without fireworks to top the night off? Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
In other news, 6 months after he expressed dissatisfaction with the ratio of Bahamians and foreigners working on the Point, Acting Labor Director John Pender said the project has engaged more Bahamians due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
My information is that the Point project was coming along pretty good. It was nearing there was like 90% completed. Because of the pandemic, to God be the glory there, to use Bahamian contractors to try to complete the project, is what I've been advised of. My information is they're seeking to open the first week in October. And they're presently they're recruiting Bahamians to work at the hotel full-time.
According to Pender, the project, said to be 90% complete, will require an additional 300 Bahamian employees.
We've been in discussion with the HR person there and the CEO there, and we're satisfied that they will give Bahamians an opportunity to fill the positions that are available. 350 is what they're saying. They're looking to start off October with 350 staffers. Bahamians.
Joining the Royal Bahamas Police Force takes determination and commitment, according to two recent graduates who say their new job titles are the realization of hard work and intense training during a global pandemic. Jasmine Brown has their stories in this report.
RAYMONO, DEVEAUX, and MARGO Bryce were among the 100 recruits who graduated from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Training College this month. They and their fellow junior officers were assigned to their posts by Police Commissioner Paul Roll this week. For DEVEAUX, joining the force was the realization of a childhood dream.
This has always been my dream, always been my passion, even though it may sound a bit cliche, but this was pretty much for me as a childhood. My family members who were already a part of this organization pretty much were role models in my life, and I pretty much want to just follow in their footsteps and pave my own path as well, and then tackle crime.
25-year-old Bryce, who is a mother of two young kids, including a 1-year-old and an 8-year-old, says it was a slightly different reason that drove her to complete training.
I'm married and I have 2 kids, so the training, being away from my family, is a little hard at first, but throughout the training process, I remembered what I was doing it for and who I was doing it for, to be an example for my children. So it gave me a strong mindset. So it helped me to push through the entire time.
And what inspired you to become an officer?
Well, growing up in the community of Fox Hill, I wanted to make a difference, basically, especially for my son, because I feel like men usually, they always become a statistic in our community. So I want to do it for him, to be an example.
Bryce added that motherhood did not slow her down. It made her more determined, though she did fear the training which kept her from home would impact her relationship with her baby.
I had the thought of that, maybe she won't remember me, but it was okay afterwards, because she came right back to me like I never left.
Bryce and DEVEAUX are members of squads C, D, and E, which is made up of 77 males and 23 females. The pair said training during a pandemic was far from easy, but also rewarding.
It was pretty much an awesome experience, especially the training cycle. It pretty much built me, it got me even more disciplined than I was before. So overall, it came out as a great learning experience, as well as a self-development as well. As you may know, this was the first squad in history to go through the entire training cycle without any pass because of the COVID-19 lockdown restrictions.
And was it was it more different than you expected, given the fact that we're going through a pandemic?
Yeah. See, training in itself is actually way different. No one can, you have previous members, family members, friends who went through the cycle. They may tell you how to prepare, but everyone's experience is different, especially with the lockdown restrictions.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
As the Bahamas celebrates its 47th year of independence, a local pastor is looking back on the country's accomplishments and offering suggestions on what should be done to help the country to advance. Georgia Bain reports.
In his recent written piece entitled A National Analysis That Provokes a National Consciousness, Reverend T.G. Morrison is questioning how far we've come as a country in the past 47 years. He's also calling on the bigger heads to have a more potent plan on what's going to happen with the country in the next 100 years. In the 7-page written piece, Morrison highlights the highs and lows of the country over the years. Speaking with our news, Morrison said he would like to see the country's leaders take a stronger stance against international agencies.
And while I understand that there is a point in which we are interdependent, we are connected, and there are alliances that are necessary, there are times when what is being asked of us is not in sync with the ethos and the value system of the Bahamas. And I would like to see and hear our leaders standing up to these international voices, while you may be asked, but we can't do that because our people, we don't respect those kinds of things. We don't go for them kind of stuff. To me, at least, die trying.
In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, Morrison also called for the economy to be diversified.
There is nothing demeaning or menial about skilled laborers and hands-on approach to be able to tap into the treasuries and the riches of our land, to tap into the rich treasuries of the sea, to be able to own and operate businesses rather than constantly working for people. And that's a part of the classism that I'm talking about, because in the structure of classism, there must be a class to service the upper class. And so that affects our educational system as well.
Morrison did not just criticize the government. He also hit out at religious leaders, whom he said have taken a backseat to their political views instead of holding the government accountable.
Our religious leaders in many respects have become so partisan in their political views that most people don't listen to them because their message is already tainted. And there are so many who are looking for something from the government. I think that there is such a urgency to sit around the table rather than being prophetic.
While Morrison said not everything over the past 47 years has been bad, he is calling for the development of a nonpartisan group to develop a plan for the way forward so that real change can take place.
Design a Bahamian pedagogy. Begin teaching that method from preschool so that by the time as persons reach tertiary education and leave these places, they have ingrained in them a desire for a better Bahamas that is rooted in the spirit of excellence, that is grounded in integrity, that has persons who are passionate about country above self.
Reporting for R News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Thanks, Giorgio. Well, as the country celebrates its 47th anniversary of independence, one group of young professionals is calling on more individuals to reflect on where the country is and where it needs to be.
We started as just a group of people who want to discuss the issues that are plaguing our society and who want to address those and get the government involved, get them working and hold them accountable.
Alea Ajigal is a part of the movement Unchaining, a new group of young professionals taking action and fighting for the change they wish to see in the country.
This is basically just a group of young Black Bahamian activists who are interested in socio-political, socio-economic, educational, and criminal justice reform. We're striving for a more equitable society where we are inclusive of Bahamians, just regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, everything. We are people who want to strive for a better Bahamas.
The group has stepped up to address issues like police brutality and criminal justice reform. The group says while movements happening abroad speak to the issues in other countries, there are those that need to be addressed in the Bahamas as well.
Our young Bahamians coming back home after graduating school that actually want to come and get a career here. So what are we offering our young Bahamians? Are young Bahamians going to come here and act as industrial fodder? Or are they going to actually be able to have careers in the Bahamas?
And with the country celebrating 47 years of independence today, Ajigal says now is the time for reflection on where we've come from and where the country needs to go.
That this Independence Day, how far have we truly come? The physical shackles may be off, but the mental shackles remain. We still have these systems that have been explicitly designed to discriminate and disenfranchise Black Bahamian people. And so what we're trying to do is get Bahamians to realize that they hold the power. You know, we put our elected officials there, and they should be serving at our pleasure. So at the end of the day, we save we.
Still to come, Bahamians share their hopes for the future. Stay tuned.
You need to make payments to your bill, but need to do it via wire transfer? Well, it's simple to do with Rev. You can make domestic or international wire transfers to pay your bill. Simply go to my.rev.bs and sign into your My account. Next, scroll down to the bottom of the page and click Download on your bill. Information is provided at the bottom of the bill, such as what the SWIFT number would be if you or someone else is making an international payment. Stay connected with Rev. Anytime, anywhere.
You're watching Our News. Welcome back. Since achieving independence 47 years ago, the Bahamas has developed and moved forward in many ways. Bahamians shared their hope for the future development of the country. Julian Gray reports.
On July 10th, 1973, a new day dawned for Bahamians. And as some reflect on the strides made since independence, we ask Bahamians and residents to look ahead and share their hopes for the future.
This country has tremendous potential, and we have young people who can carry it forward. And I'd like to see you as young people really carry the country forward.
You get out into the community, and whatever you can do in the community to help each other, you help. Maybe you may not be able to help 10 people on the 100 people, but you can help one.
I would hope that as we go through this pandemic, this is a time of resetting and restoring which is ours, and trying to pretty much pass the wealth on to Bahamians and for us to pass it on to our kids.
Ahead of the holiday weekend, local musicians TRAVI-B and Sea Rock sat by the seashore for a beach jam session. They said while Bahamian musicians have made waves around the world, there is still room for more opportunities and a bigger platform here at home.
We need more, like outside venue, like beachfront, and you have people who fly off the island just to go on jazz, and they have a nice waterfront, and the water don't be as clear as ours.
I like to see our music go like around the world. I don't just want to see the music like stay in the Bahamas. I want it to be worldwide. Like, for example, like in the music industry right now, I want us to like build like a platform. If the Ministry of Tourism could build like a platform where that you have like different bands play on different islands, like set up like a system where that each band play on different islands, so where the bands could rotate.
We even looked a bit younger for some hopes and dreams. Cousins 8-year-old Caden and 9-year-old Kevin shared their dreams for the Bahamas.
For everybody to stop being bad and be safe and to be good. And we pray to God that everyone is safe.
Excellent. And what about you?
We pray to God that everyone's safe from the coronavirus and keep everyone safe from everything.
And while the coronavirus pandemic has made celebrating the 47th anniversary of independence a bit different, families have still gathered around a common entity: food.
Chicken, mashed potatoes, salad, and macaroni.
What about you?
The same.
I'm having crab and rice, conch fritters, coconut water, switcher with coleslaw, banana bread, and I'm inviting my first cousin and her family over to my house so they can come and share in it.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Pine Ridge Member of Parliament Frederick McAlpine delivered a scathing assessment of House Speaker Halston Moultrie Wednesday evening, saying the Speaker appears to be biased in his rulings. Berthany McDermott reports.
The Speaker has been one of the most controversial speakers in modern times in the House of Assembly.
McAlpine's comments come on the heels of a heated exchange between House Speaker Halston Moultrie and members of the opposition. In Parliament on Monday, Opposition Leader Philip Davis said he is troubled by the tension that exists between his members and the House Speaker. When Parliament met on June 30th, Moultrie ordered Englerston MP Glenys Hannah Martin to withdraw after a heated row broke out on the House floor.
One that was moved at one point for a vote of no confidence. He has been known to have said things. He seems to want to fight the press. He appears to be misogynistic or chauvinistic, or there seems to be a personal beef. Even that may not be the case, but the perception in politics, they say, is often 100% reality.
The outspoken MP added that those who sit in the Speaker's chair should at least appear to be neutral.
It is unfortunate that many Bahamians do not see that coming under the rulership of this Speaker.
McAlpine added that the perception given by the Speaker isn't good for democracy.
When you have the competent authority, you have the Speaker looking as if he's ruling in one direction and he only sees one set of people in the House of Assembly, while it appears that he have difficulty observing others and not being able to strike balance when making decisions from the seat from which he sits. All of this does not fare well for democracy.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks, Berthany. Still to come, an app to make your cab ride a bit smoother. Stay tuned.
Happy Foods, Happy Foods, 242, 242, Happy Foods, 242, food galore just for you. Happy Food, 242, food galore just for you. This ain't no talking show, it's an eating show. Sasha Laurel is the host of Happy Foods, 242, food galore just for you. Happy Foods, 242, food galore.
Your taxi ride could be a bit different pretty soon. Taxi Cab Union President Wesley Ferguson says the group is set to launch a ride-sharing app of its own.
Taxi drivers, like any other business, will have to find new and innovative ways to do business. In fact, the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union is on the precipice now, finally, to download or to roll out our new taxi online app, where we could cater now to the natives, because we're going to start, because it was very difficult for natives to get a taxi here in this country, and that's why you find a lot of people in SDs and other stuff that imposing or impersonating taxi drivers.
Ferguson says the app is called Taxi Carry and will be similar to Uber and Lyft. He added that the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union members will be able to download the app and show users the driver's location and send alerts when the driver arrives for pickup. According to Ferguson, the new venture has been in the making for months.
It's prepaid because you have to have a credit card. It's no cash. It's not on a cash basis. And like I said, it's an Uber compatible app, and it will assist the taxi drivers now to start looking inward to the country, within their own country, to start catering to some of the natives and the tourists at the same time. So it would not be a total, disintegrating of their income as it may be expected. But certainly the COVID-19 costs businesses or people from all walks of life to look at how to do business more, in a different way, to be innovative, to think outside of the box. And what used to be, you have to understand that it's not going to be the same anymore, so you have to look for a different way to do what you were doing before.
Still to come, a group aims to support Bahamian creatives. That's coming up when our news returns.
Rev store at Marathon Mall is being renovated and moving operations to the Alive store at Marathon Mall for all your Rev needs until further notice. Even better, Rev customers can now also visit the Alive stores at the Southwest Plaza for all your Rev services. Rev bill payment remains available at all Alive locations. Please visit www.bealive.com/store-locator to find the exact locations and contact details of these Alive stores.
Finally, tonight in news, a group of young people joined forces to create a platform that will support Bahamian creatives. The Generation Z-led group says the pandemic has only made the need for diversification more important. Jared Higgs reports.
There is a huge amount of potential in the Bahamian youth, and it is now at this point just about capitalizing on that potential.
Nicholas Bauer is the Director of External Affairs for Bahamian, a platform designed to bring Bahamian creatives together and increase collaboration.
So Bahamian, we consider ourselves the home of excellence. Many people say we're a brand, but we think of ourselves more as a home. We want to foster, incubate, and curate Bahamian excellence, particularly right now in the Bahamian creative community.
The group was established in January 2020 by a group of Bahamian college students living abroad. A core part of the group's philosophy stems from its desire to see more young people return home after being educated in foreign countries. A part of that is more opportunities being made available here at home.
A part of breaking the box is understanding that it's not about competing with one another, it's instead about collaborating. Collaborating, at the end of the day, we must build each other's brands. We are not out to actually prove that our art or our music is better than another Bahamian musician's, but rather that we must work together to refine both of our crafts and build on each other's brands.
The group's main project this summer has been Break the Box. The Box, a representation of Bahamian creativity, was located at the Dundas Theatre, and the group was able to bring Bahamian rappers and other hip-hop artists together for collaboration.
The 10 artists, over the past 3 weeks, they have been working on their individual pieces to basically collaboratively design the box. There's also a mural on the back that is celebrating Bahamian independence, and it's basically a symbol of how if you join together you can create something much larger than the whole is much larger than the individual parts.
Bauer says the pandemic demonstrated just how important it is for other industries, creative industries included, to step up and advocate for a more diverse economy.
It is shifting the mentality to understand that we have the talent. We have the Bahamian talent. It's just a matter of attention at this point, a matter of what is being promoted to Bahamians.
The group says its ultimate goal is to encourage higher standards in the country.
the Bahamian lifestyle, going into the future, we must determine what that lifestyle looks like. Because there's a lifestyle that benefits us, and then there's a lifestyle that does not. A lifestyle that benefits us is one where we're consuming locally for all sorts of goods. Cultural goods, digital media, food, anything.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.